Beyond the Wall of Sleep by H.P. Lovecraft. I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite works of his. It's definitely up there next to Call of Cthulhu or At the Mountains of Madness. Not as necessarily long. This is probably one of his better short stories. Another personal favorite of mine is The Cats of Uthar. But this is really one of his first transcendental, hippy-dippy, trippy, another level of consciousness kind of ideas that he's injecting into his fiction. This was written in 1919, and it is crazy how far out there, without the access of, like, say, LSD or DMT, for him to come up with these ethereal, well, transcendental concepts. The whole story is that a mountain man named Joe Slater has become possessed by this higher being that is primarily made of energy, and throughout most of his life he has these manic episodes trying to explain and convey these images that are beyond his kin of understanding. Like it's him trying to explain to it is like saying you show a Zippo lighter to a caveman, or you show a TV, an iPhone, an iPad, or a computer, or some form like that to a pilgrim. They're going to believe it's witchcraft. It's very much kind of like the Green Lantern ring, that it's a super science that appears to be magic. It's really kind of neat that he tries to convey, and he's grown up in the mountains, out in a colony or a colonel type thing, where they're mountain men. If you've seen on History Channel, the mountain men, or outdoor men, I forget what it's called, or Yukon men on Discovery Channel. It's a very rugged, it's a very calloused hand type lifestyle, living hand to mouth, and there's not very much room for education because you're primarily instructed for survival, and you have to really work for your food. And in one of these manic episodes, he beat to death a neighbor, basically made his face into hamburger meat, like what happened to the yellow bastard in Sin City. And he is committed to a mental institution which they examine him, and he keeps on having these manic episodes of trying to convey these lights, these stars, these forms of energy that he cannot, well, comprehend. And it's just fascinating. And just maybe crazy people are on a different wavelength than us, or possession, or actually being possessed by ethereal energy beings that who are also stars, or not stars, but fly through space, and who can manipulate matter like stars and galaxies and novas, and are almost not necessarily omnipresent, but omniscient. Me trying to use big words. But it's the all-knowing type idea that these beings, and they get possessed, and they can't leave the bodies, they're trapped into them, and they hop through body throughout time, and they go through experiences like to ancient Egypt or to a civilization 4,000 years beyond us. It's very hardcore science fiction, or speculative fiction. And if you want to expand your vocabulary in any fashion, read Lovecraft. You gotta read Lovecraft. You really have to learn it yourself. It's very out there. It's very elegant. It's very modulated. It's very anal retentive. It isn't blunt or as frank, let's say, as Harlan Ellison. But that's one thing I like. One thing I love about Lovecraft is that there's a certain poetry and flow to it, because he was a poet before he was a writer, and he's much inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. And there's a lot of works of his that are very going on to a different wave or different level of consciousness, like in the Dream Quest of Kanath, or of Unknown Kanath, and the Silver Key, and many other stories. Cats of Uthar's, well, that takes place in the realm of the dream realm. Like, there's another world beyond us. He's made up like a ton of micro continuities. There's the Rudolph Carter continuity, which is his personal analog of himself. Like how Conan the Barbarian is Robert E. Howard's personal analog of himself, and had many adventures. That was his character. And he was antiquarian, antiques, who specialize in antiques. Sorry, I'm a little sluggish today. But anything else I can think of here? It's really a fascinating, interesting story, and it's very it's out there, and I like it. It's something. All I could say, check it out, and I don't know what's coming out. I might do another Cthulhu or related or something completely out of the blue, something I haven't read, to give my first impression, because I've read these short stories multiple times and listened to them multiple times on audiobook. So, Cthulhu month continues. I mean, Lovecraft month. Ah.